All right, guys, so we were back on it. I'm not sure right where I left off. Just got a bunch of stuff going on. So I had a few hours tonight, dropped the kids off at the roller rink, and figured I'd come down here and put some time on the car before I had to go pick them up and then head back home. I live pretty far away from my shop, so getting down here at night to find some time to get it done and work on it is kind of hard to do sometimes. But I figured while we are waiting, or while I'm doing my thing, we can get some little stuff done. So, need to remove the air to water water box and get all the hoses. I've already got everything from the front removed out, so all these hoses are loose and ready to go. I just got to unbolt all this stuff. And we've already got the fuel cell, the new old fuel cell removed. This is that little 5-gallon that I had purchased and made and all that good stuff with the filler neck there. That is out. That was... as you guys know, prepping for a sick week. So it came out the back right there. And as you can see, I just painted this black here. And every time I fill it up, the fuel would run down here. And it was already starting to mess up the black paint I had on there. So I'm going to have to go back in there and repair that. So we're going to change that up. Thought process is that we're going to remake this panel here, because it's got the holes from the water box and the holes from the filler neck. And we'll get that completely pulled out, this completely pulled out, the mounts for the fuel cell completely pulled out, cut out, all that good stuff. Get these tabs cut off and all that good things. And then we'll start kind of redesigning how we're going to do this back plate. So I need to bring up the fuel cell as high as I can off the ground, which I don't need much more height. As I was kind of designing it underneath. So probably just to the bottom of this bar here, and then level it out. So then from there, when we get the fuel cell mounted, then we'll build our new pan up around the fuel cell. So that's kind of the game plan, the goal. Like I said before, I've showed you guys the 20-gallon fuel cell. So that is the main reason we're changing all this up, is to make sure we have more miles per gallon for a sick week driving from track to track, the drag and drive event. So, and we got a little public service announcement from Katie.
If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe.
Woo! Wham bam, we got that thing up out of there. Wasn't too hard, so just went through, drilled all the rivets on our little guys there, removed the water tank, like I said, got that all removed. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a cutoff wheel and chop off this hanger there, chop off this hanger here. That one is actually a full piece all the way through right there, and then the hanger here. So after I chop this hanger off, I need to chop off this tab. This is actually my fuel pump bracket. I already had it made, so I'm gonna reuse some of this metal to mount my new fuel cell in. And as you can see, the trans cooler is pretty much up in there in the way. I don't wanna move it too far, but I do wanna move it. What I was kinda thinking, get this camera down in here, I think it'd kinda be cool to angle it right in here somewhere, so then the air flow through it and then flowed through the vents down there and give a little more airflow. We do have a really nice fan on there, so that is good. But if we got to move it, let's make sure we get some more airflow out of it. And you guys are probably asking me, Shane, why you cutting it up? You just built it, right? Well, that is exactly it. We just built it. I don't get to build a lot of race cars. I build show cars and things like that. And a lot of times you're just, using what you already have and painting it, body working it, making it look nice. Little little nice touches here and there, French and tail lights and things like that. I don't get to build many race cars, so this is, you know, my first attempt at building my own race car, and you live and you learn from a lot of the things you do. We put the 5-gallon fuel cell in there, you know, hey, let's save some weight. Let's not run, you know, a 20-gallon fuel cell in there. I don't know if you guys know this, but every 1 gallon of fuel, whether it's E85 or gas, whatever, the liquid, 1 gallon of fuel equals 8 pounds. So, you know, having a 5-gallon fuel cell at 8 pounds per gallon to having 20-gallon, it's over there, 20-gallon fuel cell, 8 pounds per gallon, you can do the difference. So when I did the math on this, the 20-gallon fuel cell with 8 pounds in there is going to be like somewhere around 100, or with, you know, 8 pounds per gallon, blah, 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 is going to be 160 pounds. So we went and weighed this. I don't know if you guys had caught that before I cut all that out. I had these weights back here to help me get some traction in there. So we went and took the car to the scales. We weighed it, and I can't remember the exact weight. The front was like 1,400. The rear was 1,200. And the full car altogether was like 2620 with me in it. I am roughly about 200 pounds. Definitely need to go on a driver's diet. I know, don't tell me. I know what's going on. But anyway, 2650 or 2620 all together. So the rear end was actually lighter than the front, so we needed to gain some weight back here. After doing the math of either a 15-gallon cell, which I have over there, I have a 20-gallon over there, and a 5-gallon over there. So after doing all the math, if I do the 20-gallon fuel cell in here completely full, when I go down the track, that'll actually put me at a 50-50 bias front and rear for weight difference. So just in the fuel cell alone. And then plus, back here we'll be adding on a tow hitch to tow our trailer with for sick week. And we'll be having a parachute up in here. So all those little things are gonna give us a little bit of weight for the rear end weight bias. So doing the math, you know, I didn't know what I was doing the first time I was building this. You know, I have rough ideas. I follow a lot of the YouTube builds and the YouTube stuff that teaches you things like that. And we're learning. And then the next thing that I learned is that some of my rear end setup isn't as good as I want it to be. So we've got some more new parts on the way. I'll show you those in a later build, but you can tell some of this stuff. That's like a 10-inch shock there, 10-inch spring. That shock has only got 3 3/4 inch travel from top to bottom, which if you're doing drag racing and separating this rear end and the tires like you want it to with the 4-link, that's no bueno. So I did a lot of studying on that, shock rates, spring rates, travel height, all that good stuff. So we got some goodies coming for the rear end. We got goodies coming for the front end, all the above. So I've got some parts here. So like I said, we're just gonna kind of just tackle what we have for the moment while everything else is being shipped. And, you know, just keep this ball rolling. Hopefully you guys enjoy us building this car and stuff like that. We do have some other really cool builds coming up. But until then, we're just gonna keep working on this race car. So we need to be completely ready before then. We've got a trailer to get ready. We've got the car to get ready. We've got the trailer that we're gonna be towing behind the car that we gotta get ready. We've gotta get flights booked for the family. I've gotta get hotels booked. You know, there is a lot that goes into this. It is 31 hours from where I live to sick week in Florida. So a lot of traveling, a lot of planning, a lot of all that stuff to get this thing done. So good news is we knew ahead of time that we were in and made it in, so we can really just hopefully get ourselves ready and kick some butt at sick week. So I'm gonna quit chatting again, get these bars cut out. I know, you ain't gotta tell me nothing. She look good. Now we got all those cut off. I'm gonna go ahead and take my little handy dandy Roll-Lock disc and just go through and clean up all my welds, clean up all the little bit of extra metal that's up there, and get this thing just nice and shiny. All right, so we've got our trans-cooler fan out of the way. Got all the bars cut out of the way, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna kind of push these bars up for now. And we've got our 20-gallon fuel cell set up here on the stand. I figured we'd just kind of jack it up in there and see what she's gonna look like, see what we're gonna have to do. Woo-hoo! Let's just send that. This will kind of just give us a fresh idea of what we need to do, what we need to accomplish clearancing-wise, if we need to do anything, and see where our hangers are going to be. I think I'm going to redesign the hangers. Last time I kind of had some straps coming down. I think this time I will probably weld some straps to the top of the frame and then mount it kind of like a normal fuel cell in a car would, with just some straps coming down and around. Just make my own straps with bolts going up. That's kind of the idea. We'll see what we need to do once it gets up in here. But instead of over-engineering it, you know, there's a reason they all strap fuel cells in with those straps anyway, because they're already engineered well. So we'll just see what we can come up with. All right, so that is roughly what we're gonna be looking like there. The top of the tank right up here is hitting the roll cage there. You can see right up in there. We're touching up top there. Up front we got enough room, but what we need to watch out for is rear end clearance. So we've got enough rear end clearance there, and we squeeze between the shocks pretty well. We're pretty even on each side. Obviously this is just a rough idea. We'll actually get it squared and measured in there once we actually get going. So, at least so far the clearance is looking good. You can kind of see there, the baggy's kind of keeping it. But just so you get a kind of a rough idea. I still got to leave some room inside here to come down for a tow hitch. So, obviously we'll probably design the tow hitch up around this, because we'll have to have a 90 that comes out of here and run our fuel pump. I'm thinking about mounting a fuel pump somewhere on the side right here, and then just, yeah, so 90 fuel pump, and then back over our fuel lines. So originally I had the fuel pump mounted on the back side of the tank with the little 5-gallon, and I had plenty of clearance with the rear end, but obviously now we're pushing it for space. So I think the side is going to be a best bet for fuel cell or fuel pump mounting. So I'm liking it though. I wish I would have got this in a black. I think the polished aluminum is not really flowing with the rest of the color and the build, but I mean, shoot, gotta have some polished parts in there, right? So the next big question you're all asking, and I'm asking it too, is how are we gonna fill this thing? So let's take a look in here and see what we can find. I threw up a ladder up on the lift here. So this is kind of what we're working with. And it's gonna kind of be, I don't know. I might design the plate to go back just how it was originally, but we're gonna have to figure out how to do like either a lift panel, so then we can throw a funnel in there and fill it that way. That's kind of my initial first thought. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any better ideas, anything like that, let me know down in the comments of some cool ways that we can do this filler neck. Obviously, we can't run the old filler neck. It used to be right here. Obviously, I deleted that a long time ago. You can see inside there. Little pocket's still there, but the lid's gone. So we can't run that. That would be kind of nice just to run a filler neck down through there and that way. So, what are our options? Let me know, guys. Let me know what y'all think. And another question that I was wondering is, most of the time when I put these tanks in, I level them flat. It's got the little drop-down reservoir, whatever you want to call that, sump. in the rear for the fuel to go down into. But I was thinking about, instead of leveling it this time, maybe putting it at a 2-degree slant backwards. So then the fuel always has to travel towards the rear and kind of always forces the fuel to be where the pickup is at. Not going too crazy, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 degrees of slant just to get that fuel back there. So let me know what you guys think about that too as well. Is that something I should do? Should I keep it level? I don't know. I've just always put them level and dealt with it that way. But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, maybe that would be kind of cool to do. Maybe it'd be beneficial. I don't know. Because a lot of times if it's low and you're going around the corner, it sloshes. These aren't baffled tanks, so it sloshes. And you lose a little bit of fuel. The pump starts to starve for a second. And with this expensive MagnaFuel pump I have in here, I don't want it to starve. So maybe by putting it at a grade, we just always make sure we have fuel in there, even when we're hitting the brakes, because when you hit the brakes, it sloshes forward and you lose a little bit of fuel pressure. So if we keep it slanted, maybe it'll have a harder time traveling that way. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is that something I should do? Is that something we should work with? Or